Hi, my name is Megan Atuvle, and I've been making interactive floor and wall experiences for over 20 years. Recently, one of my customers asked me how they should price renting an interactive LUMOplay system that they wanted to bring to children's parties and local events. And so I'm going to give you a very simple formula and a way to think about this if you're looking at starting a business that includes renting LUMOplay interactive floors and walls. If you want me to make a longer form video that covers all of the different business models for interactive displays, as well as what kind of equipment you need, what the startup costs are, all of that stuff, please let me know in the comments. A video like that will take a lot longer to make, so I need to know that people actually want to see it. So let me know if that's something that you'd be interested in. And without any further ado, I will get into the formulas and the way that I would think about pricing a rental system if you just want to rent out a portable interactive floor for your parties and local events, for your church groups, that kind of thing. Before I get started, if you're not sure how to make a portable system that you can rent out, I did make a full video about that. So I'll link to that somewhere like up there and also in the description. And if you have any questions, obviously leave a comment and I will get back to you. So the best way to think about pricing if you are renting a system out, and this goes for any system, whether it's a LumoPlay interactive floor or a bouncy castle or one of those ball pits or electric bull. If you have something that you're renting out to people, the best way to find out what people are willing to pay for that rental is to just ask them and potentially do some testing, have sales. It's called price elasticity testing. You can come up with different price points. You can have different deals. You can test different markets because if you're doing an interactive floor for a daycare or for a summer camp, the value of that to people is going to be different than if you're doing an interactive table for a nursing home in the company of an occupational therapist. So really understanding your market and doing the research is key here. But the other side to that is knowing what your costs are. So there are a few costs that you need to think about when you are renting out an interactive experience using LumoPlay. And one of them obviously is your software costs. That's a known expense. It's an annual subscription, so you can budget that in. You also need hardware, and the hardware that you need to invest in is going to depend on the type of installations that you're doing and the environment that you're doing them in. The average cost for a portable system like mine is about $3,500, and that includes everything brand new, getting a new projector, getting a new computer, all of the things that you need. Again, if you're not sure how to put a system together, I made a whole video about that and you can go check it out. Other costs are things like transportation, the gas and your car maintenance getting to and from these events. If you're going to hire somebody to help you, then that labor cost comes into play. If you are going to be paying for meals while you're on site, then that also comes into play. So what I would do is I would make a list of all these costs, and I've made a little spreadsheet that you can get started with, and I'm going to link it in the comments so that you can download it if you want to, and fill that in with what your expected costs are and also how many rentals you expect to do every month. And so if you take all of your costs, let's say you buy all your hardware new for $3,500 and you want to pay it all off in the first year, then you take that $3,500 and you divide it by 12 months. And that is your non-recurring investment into your business that you just want to pay off in the first year. And if you're comfortable just breaking even or not making too much of a profit, then you won't have to charge as much. If you want to make, 50, 60, 70% margins, then you're going to be charging a lot more. And that's where knowing the amounts that different markets will pay is really valuable. And then you take all these numbers and you sit down and you go, okay, I need to make X number of dollars every month in order to pay off my hardware, cover my expenses, cover my advertising budget, any other things that need to come in to your day-to-day work. If you need to rent an office, then your rent is also going to be an expense. And once you have that amount that you need to make, then look at how many rentals do you need to do and at what rate in order to not only make the money back to break even, but to make a profit. If you find that the amount that you have to charge feels too high, or the market is pushing back and saying it's too high, you can take some of those numbers and you can either reduce them, don't hire people to help you the first year, try to pay off your equipment over 2 years instead of 1 year. And you can tweak some of these numbers and make it line up with what the market is willing to pay. And the other thing that you can do is diversify. So figure out all of the places that you could possibly rent an interactive floor or an interactive wall, and try to get as many rentals or times booked in advance as possible, so that you have an expected amount of revenue before you make any big purchases. And then the last thing that you can do to bring your costs down is use used equipment. LUMOplay works with all kinds of projectors. There's a huge advantage in buying your equipment used if you're just starting out. And this goes for businesses that are looking at using projectors in like multiple ways. So if you're building an interactive system, but also you want to use that projector for, showing movies outside, or having something fun projected on the side of a building during a wedding. These are all things that you can do with the same equipment. And if you're diversifying what your product offering is, that's going to protect you quite a bit in case you aren't able to get the number of rentals that you need for specifically an interactive floor to cover your bills. So hopefully this helps you. Again, if you have any questions, let me know. You can download the spreadsheet that I've made and try it out for yourself, plug in your own numbers. And if you have any questions, leave a comment. You can reach me at info@lumoplay.com, and I'll be back next week with another tutorial.